Hello and welcome to ET Retail. Ahead of our flagship ET Retail Tech Summit 2023, we are speaking to industry leaders to understand how technology is taking a center stage in the growth of India's retail market. And today, we have with us Kirti Varun, Chief Product Officer at Meesho. Hello, Kirti. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks a lot for having me. Great to be here.
So, Kirti, the theme of our discussion today is how Meesho and how it's popularly known as the poster boy of e-commerce for all is leveraging technology to to drive and build a customer shopping experience for India beyond metros. So, to set the basis for this conversation, I first want to understand how does your checklist look like while you're building a shopping experience for them, and how does technology come into play there?
Yeah, I think Meesho has, in many ways, revolutionized e-commerce in India. And I think the biggest impact that Meesho has created has been to bring e-commerce to Bharat, not just metro India. I think that's been the biggest contribution. And as we have tried to capture the Bharat part of the e-commerce segment, I think there are many unique challenges that I think we have had to deal with to deliver a great shopping experience for that audience. I think first thing to keep in mind is most of this Bharat audience before Meesho was never shopping online. So they were pure offline shoppers. So today also when we look at our data of new e-commerce customers that transact on Meesho, close to 60% of them are new to e-commerce itself, which means that Meesho is the first e-commerce app that they're ever engaging with. I think that's number one. Second important thing to keep in mind is most of these customers who are new to e-commerce have been brought up on other digital products in the country like WhatsApp, YouTube, Instagram. So their exposure to digital products has largely been social media, right? So that becomes very important for us as we think of the customer shopping experience when it comes to e-commerce. I think the third unique thing about these customer bases, in general, their technology savviness is low. They prefer talking and speaking over writing things in text, right? They also are not so familiar with English, right, as a language of communication. They prefer much more their vernacular language, and India has many languages. So I think all of these, in many ways, are unique things about this customer base, which I think we've had to address and solve as we built our customer shopping experience. And this is where I think technology comes to the fore in a very big way. Today, we have a customer base, monthly active customer base of more than 150 million, right? And a big chunk of them are people in this Bharat part of the country. So the way I think we've looked at solving the core shopping experience for these customers, there are a few key pillars. I think one is a simplicity in the core UX design of the app itself. So if you look at the Meesho app and compare it to many other e-commerce apps, you will find that it is much simpler to use, right? Which means that customers can discover products easily, they can add them to cart easily, they can sort of check out, place an order much more easily, right? And when I say easily, it's about reducing the clutter, focusing on the basics, not trying to add too many features into the app, right? So simplicity, I think, has been one big pillar that we've sort of innovated on. I think the second part has been around building on their native digital behavior, right? Like I said, most of them use social media, which means they're used to scrolling vertically. And it's almost like, how can we make our e-commerce app seem to them like a WhatsApp or a YouTube or a Facebook, right? So that's been one very interesting revelation for us. And that's why you'll see if, in the Meesho app, there's a lot of vertical scrolling instead of horizontal scrolling as you discover products. There are also other things that we've done. For example, the app is available in 8 different languages. Like I was saying, a lot of it is vernacular. We also have options for discovering products through voice. So you can speak and search for an item. You also can do image search. And Meesho was the first app to introduce image search, which means that you saw on Instagram, you saw a photo of a sari that you like. You can actually take that photo and upload it on the Meesho app and search through an image rather than typing and texting. So that is something that these customers use a lot, which we've incorporated into the app. I think the last thing, which also is very important, that I think we've been able to do at Meesho, is also to make the app very light. So the install size of Meesho's app is among the lowest of all e-commerce apps. It's I think about 14 MB when you install. And the reason why we've again deliberately kept it very low is for a lot of customers because they're using low-end smartphones where the data storage space is less. So if an app has too much size, they install the app and then they delete it, right? Because they're managing space on their phone across different apps. So we made it so light that we see a lot of customers don't have to delete Meesho app, right? And they can continue using it. So I think all of these are different nuances that we've baked in into our core shopping experience and the way the app works to cater to this particular audience.
Okay, okay. No, very interesting points there, Kirti. I want to understand, how do you see the adoption of vernacular languages across social media and shopping apps coupled with voice search? These are the two big trends where we see even big players and newer players foraying into and trying to, set up their base in these segments. So, how do you see the adoption of these two trends?
Yeah, I think both of these trends, I think, are on the uptick, which means that even as we peer into the future, most of e-commerce growth will come from the tier two and beyond geographies, which means that adoption of voice, adoption of even things like image search, etc., will only increase with time, right? Because more of these types of customers are coming online for shopping. So I do see that increasing, even the vernacular language part you mentioned. And even if I look at today itself, if I on the Meesho app, I think the usage of vernacular languages is close to 30%, which means that a large population actually wants to use the Meesho app in a language other than English. Right, so it's already pretty big, and I do think this number will keep growing. Similarly, the usage of voice search also is very high. So I think more than 20% of all of the searches that happen on Meesho are voice searches, right? Which is a massive number compared to if you see other e-commerce apps. So already these numbers are very healthy, and I do foresee these numbers only increasing because as we keep growing from here, we are going to penetrate Bharat more, which means the next 100 million people who today maybe use only WhatsApp but don't use any e-commerce app will start using Meesho, and automatically they would want things in vernacular. They want to do voice search, image search. So these trends will keep increasing a lot.
Okay, okay. It's always very heartening to hear that, we see an uptick in use of vernacular languages. I think it's a beautiful trend for the entire commerce industry in the country. So I want to understand in terms of personalizing the shopping experience, as you mentioned, Meesho has made its app very light. When I've interacted with, with Meesho's representatives, they've also highlighted that the app gets customized as, you move across geographies. So if you can share some insights on that, how do you personalize the entire experience for someone from Gujarat and for someone from, Northern India, Himachal or someplace?
Yeah, I think personalization has been a very strong area of focus for us over the last 3 years. And we've invested a lot in data science, machine learning algorithms to do personalization. And the reason why it's important is one, because we are focusing on the Bharat part of the country that itself is very heterogeneous, right? In terms of languages, geographies being different, even the tastes of what trends work in one part of the country versus the other part of the country are very different. So therefore, there is this huge amount of heterogeneity in the customer base. And also we have a lot of items that we sell on the app. We have close to 100 million items, which means our ability to show a set of items to a customer so that they can actually discover products and buy becomes very critical. And because the customers are heterogeneous and also you have so much selection, sort of making that match happen is the toughest part. And that's where personalization comes. And the way we personalize is to the extent of almost every individual customer sees something different on the app compared to the other. So it ranges from personalizing based on geography, language, even the kind of phone that you're using also gives us a sense of the income that you have. So using all of those, what we call static signals that we use to personalize, but also we use a lot of dynamic signals, which means that as a customer, if last time when you opened the app, if you showed affinity towards a particular category like sari or kurti, and you clicked on a sari product card, or you viewed some kurti for 1 minute. So all of those dynamic signals of your interactions with the Meesho app also are data that we use to personalize your experience more. right? So therefore, it's a lot of static signals like geography, language, etc., and also these dynamic signals which we use to personalize, and to the extent that every customer, when they open the app, their homepage would look different from somebody else, or the kind of items that they are showcased are very different from what somebody else has showcased. So this is our way to ensure that while we have 100 million listings or products that we are selling, to every customer, we're able to pick out the 100 out of those 100 million that are truly personalized for them. So I think that's sort of the kind of investments we've made till now.
Okay, okay, wonderful. You mentioned also about horizontal scrolling, and Meesho has also played its part in the social commerce trend that we see today. Can you share some examples or use cases of how shopping websites like Meesho are leveraging social media platforms to ensure a community building for its customers?
Yeah, Meesho, I think originally started off as what we call a social commerce app, which means the initial growth of the company was built on resellers or entrepreneurs, as we used to call them, who used to look at items on Meesho app and then share it with their friends, family on WhatsApp, Facebook, and all of those items. So these social channels became a way for us to gain distribution when we were operating largely as a social commerce app. I think over the last few years, we've now pivoted to become a full-fledged e-commerce app, which means that there are a lot of customers who come and directly buy on the app, on Meesho directly. And also, we still have some amount of the reselling going on where your reseller is leveraging social media to share items with their end customers, and then they can place an order on Meesho after that. So I think that trend is still on. The way we have leveraged social media is not just in distribution, but also in terms of learning user behavior, right? Which is the point I was making earlier. Because a lot of these customers, they get introduced to technology first on a WhatsApp or a Facebook or an Instagram. So our ability to understand what these people are doing on those apps and why do they spend so much time there and what kind of experience do those apps offer, which we can replicate. The vertical versus horizontal scrolling is one example of that. The other big example of that you will find a lot on Meesho is there's a lot of social kind of product features built into the app, which means that so there are a lot of social kind of features. For example, there's a lot of gamification, which means if you place certain number of orders, you win some points, and then you get a reward if you accumulated a bunch of points. Now, this is a behavior that you find on a gaming app and not on a social on an e-commerce app. But we know that a lot of our customers use these gaming apps, so that we have leverage here. Similarly, you will also find things on the Meesho app like what we call a community, right? So this community is a feature on our app where one customer can sort of share with other customers what they bought on the app, and they can put images of that, and other people also like, comment, share those, just like you would find in a social media app. So I think all of these elements are built into the Meesho app so that we can leverage the usage of social media that these customers already do in the context of shopping. And that's why the app also works and looks very differently from most other e-commerce apps.
Okay, very interesting. So as we look at the next 100 million customers to onboard and join digital commerce as a whole, what are some challenges that you see, and what is that technology or trend that the company will be banking on to bridge that gap and maintain its competitive edge?
Yeah, I think as we look ahead to the future, I think the biggest technology trend that will disrupt will definitely be AI, which means like I spoke about personalization, etc. But I think what AI and the recent advances in Chat GPT or Auto GPT, etc., enable is a much more advanced level of personalization, which is almost, for example, use cases like conversational commerce become now much more impactful. For example, as a customer, I can actually literally converse with the app, like literally chat with the app to find what I want, versus either just searching for it or browsing. I can chat and find what I want. So till now, we haven't been able to do much there because it requires a very deep level of intelligence on the chat AI. But now with Chat GPT, etc., some of those will come, which means conversational e-commerce will become big. I think that is one big area. I think the other place where AI will disrupt a lot is in customer support. Today, if you see as a customer, I have to call a call center or I need to do some basic chat to get my query resolved. But all of that will become much more intelligent once you have something like Chat GPT, etc., incorporated into the mainstream. So I think some of these will be very big trends, right, around AI that will disrupt commerce. I think the second big trend, which already we are seeing on Meesho today, is video, right? So today we have live streaming commerce on our app, which means that there is a seller or a creator who's demoing a product live through a video, and there are multiple customers who are watching that video, and they can chat with the person who's doing the demo, and they can buy the item live on a video, right? So this is live streaming commerce. This is already become very important for us and will become even more in future. It will become much larger. And the reason why is, again, if you see the customer base of Bharat, their data consumption on video, etc., is very, very high, one of the highest in the world, by the way. So which means that they would want more interactive mediums like shopping through a live video. So that is going to be big, and we're investing a lot there as well. So these two, I think, are very big trends. I think the third one, which is more, I think, futuristic compared to where we are today, is something like augmented reality. Also is a trend which I think can be very big for e-commerce, especially when you're buying items where you want to see how that item looks on you or fits in your house before you buy. For example, if you're buying furniture, the biggest problem today is understanding the height, depth of that furniture item, like a sofa, relative to how it would look in your house. It's very tough for you to figure that out. Whereas what augmented reality enables is you can literally place that item digitally in your physical house and see how it looks. And then you can make a purchase, right? So that is something that can disrupt commerce in a very big way. And I think we will see that in future happening. So these to me are some big trends that will shape e-commerce in future.
Wonderful. I mean, these sound very exciting, and I completely believe that the way we shop is just going to revolutionize as we go forward. Yes.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you again, Kirti, for joining us today and sharing these insightful inputs. It was a lovely interaction, and yeah, looking forward to more such launches and interesting takes from Meesho ahead.
Great. It was nice having this conversation. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thanks.